selection of or election for leadership, as we are on the verge of getting into elections, the uh, 2024 Lok Sabha elections are going to happen in the month of April or May. I thought let's put forward few things which come to my mind. I just wanted to share those with all the Indians. I would record the same video in Hindi and publish it afterwards. Right now, I am doing it in English. For selection, I have chosen a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis, as everyone knows, is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and so that kind of analysis is done basically by corporates. But that can be applied to anything in life. So I have done this analysis based on 4 parameters. Before digging into the main analysis, let's start with a story. This goes back during my days in National Chemical Laboratory, Pune, where I completed my doctorate in organic chemistry. While doing it, or while pursuing my PhD, we used to have regular lectures. In one of the lectures, the then head of the department, organic chemistry synthesis department, told us, an interesting aspect, that when you are coming across anyone, you can have a SWOT analysis based on simple criteria, which is you can ask 2 questions: if the person is wise or stupid, or and the second question would be if the person is active or inactive, and then categorize that person, and you would, based on these 2 questions, and you would come up with 4 categories, major categories, wherein if you look at, you can see that if the person is wise and active, then this would be an ideal condition. The next one is if the person is wise but he is inactive, so the person would be still okay because he has some sense, or he has some, he is using his brain. The third category would be the person is stupid but inactive. So here there would be a question, but as you really look into it, if the person is stupid and inactive, it is, you would have a question in mind whether you should, the way you should negotiate with him, or do you want to have any kind of relationship with him. But the most dangerous category would be if the person is stupid and active. So normally what is seen is, if the person is stupid and active, then he would be, or he would create a nuisance in the surroundings or the society. So you really want to, be away from such kind of people. So if we use this SWOT analysis towards the politician to whom we are going to vote, we can always think of that person putting it in these 4 categories. If the person is wise and active, if the person is wise and inactive, now you can see there is a complete lot of politicians which are known to us so far in last maybe 50 years, because I am 50 years old. So I can put any person in one of these categories. Now the second analysis what I would use is I would again use wise and stupid, but I would ask another question, because we are talking about politicians. So I would ask if the person is corrupt or non-corrupt. Again, so let's get into details. If the person is wise and non-corrupt, this could be an ideal candidate. So a candidate अच्छा है. If the person is stupid but non-corrupt, so it may happen that the person doesn't do anything, but at least he is not, eating up our tax money. Okay. Then there would be a person who is stupid but corrupt. That means he doesn't know how to do corruption or how to take part in direct corruption, but he will have people surrounding him who are corrupt, and he won't do anything about it. He won't understand that if there is some corruption going on or not. But the most dangerous category would be the person is wise and corrupt. Now one can easily think of politicians who have been wise and corrupt. We can ask these questions to ourselves. The third analysis would be the same question again, if the person is wise or stupid. But now we want our candidate to be nationalist. So we ask whether the candidate is nationalist or anti-national. If he is doing some propaganda, or he is talking some nonsense when he is addressing the mob, if he is using some anti-national words or anti-national propaganda, so that question we can ask again when we go into the details. If the person is wise and nationalist, so he will use all his brain towards upliftment of the nation, or he will do anything which is good for the nation. If the person is stupid but nationalist, he can again, if he is nationalist, he will take he will make use of IPS, IAS, IRS, all these government officials, IS officer, or to make the thing work. He may not understand that, but he will give freedom to the good people because he is nationalist. Then there would be a stupid person and anti-national. Again, he is a dumb, he or she is a dumb person, but somehow he is anti-national. So he might talk something nonsense. So there is a question whether this person is good as our leader or not. But the most dangerous would be a wise and anti-national, because the person is learned, the person understands, he is using his brain, but he is completely anti-national. So this person is no good for us. Now, the ideal situation so far, if we look at the candidate, if the person is wise and if he is active and he is non-corrupt, then eventually he will be a nationalist. Then for our nation, this kind of a person who is having these three categories, three characteristics, would be best for the nation. Now we can ask ourselves a question: who is this candidate? Am I voting a wrong candidate? Or there could be another question asked: then should I go for voting? Because it is hardly, it is very hard to find such kind of people. But we can always think, if the candidate which is going to head our nation fits into these four categories, these four parameters, then indirectly we can vote that candidate. That means if we are not in the constituency where that candidate is fighting for elections, we can always support the same party wherein the person in question will get complete majority and he will be presenting or representing our country outside India. So that is very important. So it may not be the candidate, ideal candidate whom I am going to vote, but eventually the person who is fitting into this criteria would be heading us. This was the simple selection. Now, the ideal situation for not voting or not voting a candidate would be the person is wise and active, but he is corrupt and anti-national. So this person is not at all good for us. Of course, one can say that if the person is corrupt, he is already anti-national. So corrupt and anti-national, these are the two synonyms. Because if he is corrupt, then he is eating up taxpayers' money. So now this criteria or this analysis, the overall analysis, would also give another thought to us that this analysis works as a mirror. For example, if I'm looking into a mirror and if I see a candidate and if I select that candidate, then the candidate in the mirror is mirror image of my own perspectives. For example, if I am fitting into this ideal situation, then I will vote the person who is fitting into this ideal situation. For example, if suppose I am working in some system or I want some favors from the system, then I would always go and choose a person who would favor to me, who would, you know, who would benefit to what I really want a favor from the system. Another thing, if I am selling my vote to a person, that person is buying my vote by paying me some money, then sure enough, that money is not coming from accountable money. That means that money has been coming from an unaccountable businesses. So it's a black money which is being distributed. So if I am interested in that kind of money, then I fit into the same category wherein the person is, giving that money. So in a way, one can do this exercise and ask ourselves where I fit and where my candidate fits. And then I can go for voting. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for listening. Goodbye.